Padre Pio had a secret that few people knew. Some plants are not merely decorations. They are channels of divine blessing that transform the atmosphere of your home. Many people live surrounded by negative energies without realizing it, while the solution could be growing right in their garden or on their balcony. Have you ever wondered why some houses radiate peace the moment you walk through the door, while others seem to absorb all your energy? What I am about to reveal to you changed the life of Maria from Seville, who suffered from insomnia and family problems for years. It was as though a light had entered my home, she confessed after following this advice from Padre Pio, which I will share with you today. These 5 plants are not ordinary, although you may already have one of them without knowing its true power. Padre Pio recommended them not only because of their healing properties for the body, but also because of their ability to purify the spiritual atmosphere of the home. It is like planting miracles in your house, he would say to his closest followers. Before revealing which blessed plants they are, I must warn you that simply possessing them is not enough. Padre Pio taught a specific way of planting and caring for them in order to activate their spiritual power, a method that has been passed down through generations of believers and that, for the first time today, I will explain in detail. Do you already have plants in your home? Have you noticed any changes in the atmosphere since you brought them in? Share your experience in the comments, because it could confirm what Padre Pio discovered decades ago. Prepare yourself to transform your home with these 5 powerful plants that, according to Padre Pio, attract blessings, protect against negative energies, and may even manifest small everyday miracles in your family life. But first, I need to explain something fundamental about Padre Pio's connection with nature that will completely change the way you see plants. Few people know about the profound connection Padre Pio maintained with nature. Born Francesco Forgione in the small town of Pietrelcina, Italy, he grew up surrounded by the simplicity of rural life, where he learned to value every element of divine creation. From childhood, Francesco spent hours contemplating the plants in his family's vegetable garden, fascinated by how a tiny seed could transform into a plant that provided nourishment and healing. In every leaf and every flower, God speaks to us if we know how to listen, he would say to those who visited him seeking comfort. For Padre Pio, plants were not simply decorations or food, but tangible manifestations of God's love for humanity, small everyday miracles that many people overlook. During his years in San Giovanni Rotondo, Padre Pio maintained a small garden of herbs and medicinal plants beside his cell. The other friars watched with curiosity as he devoted time every morning and every afternoon to caring for these plants, speaking softly to them as he watered them. When they asked him why he spoke to them, he replied with a smile, "They listen better than many of us." What few people know is that Padre Pio had acquired profound knowledge about the spiritual properties of certain plants, not only through books or study, but through his extraordinary spiritual sensitivity. According to testimonies from people close to the saint, he could perceive the energy emanating from different plant species and understood how this energy interacted with the atmosphere of a home and with the people living there. Every plant has a specific divine purpose, he explained to his closest followers. Some clean the physical air, others purify the spiritual air, some bring peace to the heart, and others awaken the mind to prayer. This wisdom, discreetly transmitted over the years, has remained almost like a secret guarded among his most faithful devotees. Padre Pio considered the home a small sanctuary, a sacred space where the family gathers to share life. If your house is filled with blessings, your family will prosper in every way, he taught. For this reason, he recommended these 5 specific plants, each one possessing a unique spiritual purpose that contributes to creating an atmosphere favorable to complete well-being. Numerous testimonies confirm the effectiveness of these recommendations. Families suffering from constant and unexplained illnesses saw their health improve. Homes dominated by discord found harmony and peace, and people facing financial difficulties experienced a mysterious improvement in their finances. All these positive changes occurred after they incorporated these sacred plants while following Padre Pio's precise instructions. Antonio from Barcelona shared with us, "My wife and I were on the verge of divorce. An elderly devotee of Padre Pio gave us 2 of these plants and told us to care for them together. At first, we regarded it as a superstition, but we decided to try it. 6 months later, our relationship had been completely transformed. Today, 5 years later, we have a happy marriage, and our home is filled with these miraculous plants. However, there is something essential you must understand before learning which plants they are." Padre Pio warned that intention is just as important as the plant itself. "A plant without prayer is only decoration," he often repeated. To activate the spiritual power of these plants, we must plant and care for them with sincere faith and with the conviction that they are divine instruments intended for our well-being. Are you ready to discover these 5 blessed plants? I warn you that once you discover their power and begin experiencing their benefits, you will never see nature in the same way again. The first plant is so powerful that Padre Pio always kept it close to his confessional, where so many miracles and conversions occurred over the decades. The first sacred plant that Padre Pio recommended having in the home is basil, or Simum basilicum. Beyond its culinary use, this aromatic herb was considered by the saint to be a spiritual shield for the home. Basil is like a small green cross inside your house, he would say to people who asked him how to protect their homes from negative influences. According to the testimonies of his closest followers, Padre Pio kept a pot of basil near his window to purify the air and drive away negative presences. He also advised keeping it near the confessional, where he spent long hours listening to the afflictions of thousands of pilgrims. Its fragrance clears the mind and opens the heart to sincere repentance, he explained. Carmen from Valencia shared her experience with us. "My family lived in constant conflict. Arguments occurred every day, and the atmosphere felt heavy, as though a dark cloud were hanging over us. A friend who had visited San Giovanni Rotondo gave me a small basil plant and told me to follow Padre Pio's teachings. From the moment I placed it at the entrance to my house, the arguments gradually decreased, and we felt an inexplicable peace. My children noticed it even though I had told them nothing about the plant. This is not a coincidence. In Christian tradition, basil is associated with the cross of Christ. It is said that when Saint Helena found the true cross, basil was growing around it. Its intense fragrance is considered not only pleasant to people, but also a natural repellent against dense energies and negative thoughts. Padre Pio taught that basil should be planted on a Tuesday or Friday, preferably in the morning, and blessed with water while the Lord's Prayer is recited. It is not superstition, he clarified to those who questioned these practices. It is recognizing that all creation is an instrument of God intended for our good. He also recommended replacing the plant every year in order to maintain its protective power at maximum strength. The second miraculous plant is aloe vera, Aloe barbadensis Miller. Padre Pio called it the plant of resurrection because of its incredible capacity for regeneration and survival. This succulent not only possesses scientifically recognized medicinal properties for the skin and digestion, but, according to the saint, also absorbs the negative energies of the home like a spiritual sponge. Aloe vera purifies not only the body, but also the environment in which it lives, Padre Pio explained to those suffering from unexplained or recurring illnesses. He firmly believed that many physical ailments originated in spiritually contaminated environments, and that this plant helped restore the energetic balance of the home. Maria Jose from Argentina tells us, "My 7-year-old son suffered from constant nightmares. The doctors said it was normal for his age, but I witnessed his suffering every night. Following advice about Padre Pio that a devoted friend gave me, I placed an aloe vera plant beside his bed. The nightmares stopped the following week. He is now 15 years old, and we still keep that plant in his room. It is an everyday miracle that has transformed the way we rest." Padre Pio recommended keeping at least 3 aloe vera plants in the home, one at the main entrance to filter the energies entering the house, another in the living room to harmonize shared spaces, and a third in the main bedroom to protect the family's rest. He insisted that these plants should be watered moderately, because their power lies in their resilience rather than in excessive watering. However, there is a crucial detail that many people overlook. According to Padre Pio's teachings, these plants should be given or received as gifts and should never be purchased for oneself. A purchased plant nourishes the body. A gifted plant nourishes the soul, he explained to his followers. Therefore, if you wish to apply this wisdom in your home, the ideal practice is to exchange plants with friends or relatives, thereby multiplying the blessings. The following 3 plants possess even more surprising powers, especially the third, which, according to various testimonies, has facilitated genuine financial miracles in households on the verge of crisis. However, before continuing, you must understand that the way we interact with our plants is essential to activating their spiritual properties. Padre Pio taught that every morning we should greet them and every night we should thank them, establishing a conscious connection with them. Plants perceive our intentions, he explained to his closest followers, and they respond to our love as any creature of God would. This simple daily ritual takes no more than 1 minute, but according to the saint, it makes the difference between having a simple decoration and possessing a genuine spiritual ally in the home. Speaking to your plants is speaking to God through his creation, he said. Some devotees claim to have seen Padre Pio whispering prayers while watering the plants in the monastery, as though he were sharing his prayers with them. Let us now continue with the third miraculous plant, Rosemary Rosmarinus officinalis. Padre Pio called it the protector of the home and considered it especially powerful for financial prosperity and mental clarity. According to his teachings, this aromatic plant possesses the ability to sweep away stagnant energies that prevent abundance from flowing into our lives. Antonio from Murcia shared his testimony. I was on the verge of bankruptcy with my small bakery business. My debts were accumulating, and I could no longer see a way out. One Friday morning, an elderly woman who was a regular customer gave me a pot of rosemary, saying that it was a teaching from Padre Pio for attracting prosperity. I placed it at the entrance to my shop with skepticism, more out of respect for the woman than because of any genuine conviction. In less than a month, a customer appeared and proposed that I become the exclusive supplier for his chain of restaurants. That contract saved my business. Today I have 3 prosperous shops, and each one has a rosemary plant at its entrance. To benefit from its maximum power, Padre Pio recommended planting rosemary near the main entrance of the house or business, preferably on the right side of the door. He also suggested cutting small branches at every new moon and placing them in the corners of the home where important documents are stored or where financial decisions are made, replacing them monthly. The saint also recommended rosemary for students and intellectual workers. It clears the mind and strengthens the memory, he explained. For that reason, he advised keeping a small rosemary plant in study or work areas, occasionally rubbing a leaf between the fingers and inhaling its fragrance whenever special concentration was needed. The fourth blessed plant is Rue, Ruta graveolens. Although its scent is intense and not very pleasant to some people, Padre Pio considered it an extremely powerful spiritual shield against envy and malicious intentions. It is like having an invisible guardian inside your home, he would say to those suffering from inexplicable periods of bad luck or sudden conflicts with no apparent cause. Isabel from Mexico tells us, "My home seemed to be under a constant shadow. Decorative plants died without explanation, household appliances frequently broke down, and arguments among family members were endless." A friend devoted to Padre Pio told me about this teaching concerning Rue, and I planted one in my garden while following his exact instructions. The transformation was gradual but undeniable. Within 3 months, the atmosphere of our home had changed completely. It was as though our house had been freed from a heavy presence that we could not see, but could clearly feel. It is important to mention that Padre Pio warned people to handle rue carefully. It should never be touched directly with bare hands, but only while wearing gloves, especially by pregnant women, because of its powerful properties. He recommended planting it on a Friday at sunset and watering it with previously blessed water while reciting Psalm 91, known as the Prayer of Protection. Padre Pio also offered practical solutions for people who lived in apartments or did not have gardens. He taught that these plants could be grown perfectly well in pots, provided that they received adequate sunlight and were cared for with love and awareness. It is not the size of the garden that matters, he said to those concerned about living in small spaces, but the faith with which you cultivate each plant. However, there is a crucial detail that I have not yet revealed to you about the fifth plant, perhaps the most miraculous of them all. According to the testimonies collected, this plant, in Padre Pio's view, possesses the power to heal broken relationships and attract unexpected blessings. Nevertheless, there is an important warning concerning when and how it should be planted. The fifth and perhaps most powerful plant recommended by Padre Pio is lavender, Lavandula angustifolia. To him, this beautiful plant with violet-colored flowers was a symbol of the divine presence within our homes. Its fragrance is like a constant prayer that purifies the atmosphere, he taught his closest followers. The purple color of its flowers, traditionally associated with spirituality and royalty within the Church, represented to the saint the nobility of the human spirit when connected with the divine. Lavender possesses the extraordinary power to heal fractured relationships and bring peace of mind to those who live under its influence. Padre Pio considered it especially effective in homes where there were sick people, individuals suffering from anxiety or depression, or families experiencing emotional crises. Its vibration is like a caress from the Virgin Mary, he explained to those who came to him seeking comfort for their wounded hearts. Luisa from Colombia shares her moving experience with us. My daughter and I had not spoken to each other for 3 years following a terrible argument. The pain was unbearable for both of us, but neither one of us took the first step toward reconciliation. A neighbor who had visited San Giovanni Rotondo gave me a small lavender plant, saying that it was part of Padre Pio's teachings for healing broken relationships. I planted it on my balcony and thought about my daughter every time I watered it, visualizing our reconciliation. 1 month later, after such a long silence, I received her call. Today, 2 years later, our relationship has been completely restored and is even stronger than it was before. My daughter now also keeps lavender in her home. However, Padre Pio warned that lavender should be planted during the waxing moon and never during the waning moon, because its spiritual power is connected with the energies of growth and renewal. He also recommended placing it in spaces where the family gathers, such as the living room or dining room, in order to harmonize conversations and encourage mutual understanding. It is like having a silent mediator during family disagreements, he explained. One special practice taught by Padre Pio was to make small sachets filled with dried lavender flowers and place them beneath pillows in order to promote restorative sleep and receive divine inspiration during rest. The angels whisper more clearly when we sleep upon lavender, he said with the serene smile that characterized him. Now, have you considered how the energy of your home might change if you incorporated these 5 sacred plants? Imagine waking tomorrow in a purified environment where the air you breathe is filled with positive vibrations. Think about how family arguments could be transformed into constructive conversations, how accumulated stress could gradually dissolve, and how financial concerns could give way to unexpected opportunities. Many people spend years searching for complicated solutions to their problems when the nature created by God offers simple yet profoundly effective remedies. Through his extraordinary spiritual sensitivity, Padre Pio understood this connection between the natural and spiritual worlds and left us these teachings as a gift of love. Think about your loved ones who are going through difficult times. A mother unable to sleep because of her worries, a child stressed by school, a husband overwhelmed by work responsibilities, or a deteriorating family relationship. Do they not deserve to have these blessed plants around them to help relieve their burdens? Many people wait for great miracles, extraordinary events that will transform their lives overnight. However, Padre Pio teaches us that true miracles occur in everyday life, in the peace that can be felt inside the home, in restored family harmony, in the illness that never arrives because the environment has been purified, and in the employment opportunity that appears when it is least expected. Through these plants, Padre Pio shows us that spirituality is not separate from nature. On the contrary, creation is a channel of blessings that we often ignore because we are searching for solutions that are more sophisticated or expensive. Every plant is a manifestation of divine love, a tool that God gives us to improve our quality of life. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract blessings constantly, while others struggle with recurring problems? Part of the secret may lie in their connection with nature and with these sacred plants that Padre Pio recommended as guardians of the home. Do not wait any longer. These teachings of Padre Pio remained almost secret for years, passed down only among his closest followers. Today, you have the opportunity to transform your home with this ancient knowledge, which combines faith with the wisdom of nature. However, I must warn you that there is a specific ritual for maximizing the power of these 5 plants when they are kept together, a method taught by Padre Pio that few people know. The ritual Padre Pio recommended when all 5 plants are present is as simple as it is powerful. On the first Sunday of every month at sunrise, you should water each plant while reciting a prayer of gratitude. Then, using a small amount of holy water, or water over which you have prayed with faith, lightly sprinkle the leaves of each plant while visualizing your home being filled with divine light and protection from its foundations to its roof. Padre Pio taught that this simple act of faith activates the combined power of these plants, which were created by God for our well-being. It is neither magic nor superstition, but the humble recognition that all creation was designed with a divine purpose to help us along our spiritual and material path. This practice connects the visible world with the invisible one, creating a bridge between our everyday reality and the spiritual dimension that sustains us. Juana Maria from Córdoba shares her testimony with us. After hearing about these teachings of Padre Pio, I introduced the 5 plants and the monthly ritual into my home. At first, I did it more out of curiosity than deep conviction. In less than a year, my home was completely transformed. The chronic illnesses that had afflicted my husband and me diminished noticeably. Our arguments turned into constructive conversations, and even the decorative plants that previously died without explanation now flourish as never before. My neighbors constantly ask what we have done to make our house feel so welcoming. It is as though our home has been blessed by a divine presence that everyone can perceive. The wonderful thing about this teaching of Padre Pio is that it is accessible to everyone, regardless of their financial circumstances or available space. It requires neither a large investment nor specialized gardening knowledge. You only need these 5 plants, some fertile soil, pots if you do not have a garden, and, above all, sincere faith in the wisdom Padre Pio left to us through his profound connection with nature and the divine. For those who live in congested cities or small apartments, the saint recommended adapting the size of the plants to the available space. Even a small pot of basil on your window can change the energy of your room, he would say to pilgrims who told him about their limited space. Padre Pio emphasized that size is not what matters, but rather the intention and constant care we devote to these sacred plants. There is also a special teaching for homes with children. Padre Pio recommended involving them in caring for these plants from an early age and assigning them small responsibilities appropriate to their age. A child who learns to care for a plant is learning to respect all of God's creation, he explained. This practice not only strengthens family bonds, but also instills profound spiritual values that will accompany children throughout their lives. Today, before the day ends, I invite you to begin this path of transformation for your home. Obtain at least one of these 5 sacred plants: basil, aloe vera, rosemary, rue, or lavender. Plant it according to the recommendations I have shared with you, and carefully observe the changes that begin to manifest within your surroundings and your family relationships. Always remember Padre Pio's words: it is like planting miracles in your house. Every plant is an opportunity to connect with the divine through nature and to transform your living space into a sanctuary of peace, harmony, and continual blessings. If this message has resonated within your heart, do not keep it only for yourself. Share it with someone who needs to transform their home or who is going through difficult times. Sometimes the miracle a person needs can begin with a simple plant given with love and with an explanation of this ancient wisdom that Padre Pio left to us. May Padre Pio intercede from heaven for every one of you. May these sacred plants fill your homes with light, protection, and everyday miracles. And may the wisdom of this beloved saint continue guiding us along our spiritual path through the wonderful creation that God has placed at our service. As Padre Pio always said during his moments of contemplation in the monastery garden, nature is the first book written by the hand of God. Let us learn to read it with an open heart and a serene mind, and we will find answers to questions we did not even know we had.